back to Cinematic. I'm Ryan, and I don't know that I'm gonna add like a ton to the conversation this week, which is good because that's not necessarily the point of what I'm doing around here. I'm learning a lot, I like to share it. And this week I like to share a lot about Police Story 3, which is a very popular franchise. I feel like most people have heard about it, probably. One of the stories I heard was that Jackie Chan was so disillusioned with the process and result of The Protector, which we talked about not too long ago, that he wanted to make like an actual cop movie, but for reals this time. And that was Police Story 1, which by all accounts did very well commercially and critically. It won Best Picture and Best Action Choreography at the Hong Kong Film Awards that year, which those are like the two top tier awards that, you know, Hong Kong action movies are gunning for. Police Story 2 came out 3 years after that, did even better, and overseas as well, by the way. These are all just doing gangbusters overseas. So by the time Police Story 3 Supercop comes out, let's put it this way, even I saw it. And I guess it did have a limited release in 93, but when Rumble in the Bronx broke big in 96, they did a wider release just a few months after that, I want to say. So I feel like I mention this every week, the closer we get to it, but Rumble in the Bronx is a big one for me. That was my first Jackie Chan movie. And again, that's how well his movies were penetrating the market at this point, is that I, you know, like normal movie-going Ryan could just walk into a theater and see Rumble in the Bronx. So when Rumble in the Bronx did great, they were basically like, hey, we have another one of these that we didn't probably even try with just yet. So they released it to more audiences. And I think I did not see Supercop actually in the theaters, but I did see it on video not too long after that. But this is part of what I love about doing the series, is I get to go back and rewatch some of these now with new eyes. Right now, 49 episodes deep into this thing, I get this new perspective on what was going on. So safe to say, I don't think I even realized the first time around how much of a departure Police Story 3 is from the first two. And I saw them out of order. Like I saw Supercop, probably not even knowing it was Police Story 3, honestly, the first time around. And then have since, although it's been years at this point, seen Police Story 1 and 2. And the first two are pretty lighthearted romps. You know, they've got the tone thing going on that Jackie and Sammo movies have here and there, where there's some goofy, it's a kung fu comedy. It's still a kung fu comedy through and through. The first two are, even though they have their serious moments. The third, like, we are opening up on drugs are being smuggled in condoms and stomachs and corpses and babies and rectums. So we need a super cop, to say the very least. And there is some lightheartedness going on throughout the movie. It's not like a completely dour or overly serious cop movie or anything like that. But I'd say the goofiness is pretty much completely gone for this one, which does go a long way to evening out the tone, actually. And I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but this is also the first that Jackie Chan himself did not direct. This is the first appearance. I like talking about things like they're comic books. This is the first appearance of Stanley Tong for this series. He and Jackie collaborated more than a few times once Golden Harvest brought him on board. One of those times was Rumble in the Bronx, like I mentioned. Another was First Strike, which I am, okay, it's been about a week now, but recently found out that First Strike is Police Story 4, so may have added that to the list at this point. So we'll come back to Stanley Tong for sure. So Police Story 3 stands out for kind of all of these reasons. And then I realize I am listening to location audio with this thing, like sync sound. Like what I am hearing and what I am seeing are the same, like happening at the same time. This might be an actual first now. Again, 49 episodes in, 1992, Welcome to the Future. We are, okay. I would not be surprised if you told me some of the John Woo movies I did, like Better Tomorrow, was that maybe sync sound? Regardless, Police Story 3 is a very early example, and it's certainly the first Jackie Chan example that I'm seeing for this series at the very least. Is that enough qualifiers? Even though I know I'm pretty sure Jackie dubbed his own voice in all of his movies, obviously, but I don't know if I'd say the same thing for the female characters so far, and I'm not sure like the dubs were especially generous for that reason. Like Maggie Cheung's in Police Story 3 again, she plays May, Jackie's girlfriend, and sounds completely normal, like not overly shrill or anything at all. In fact, if anything, I don't know if this is a comparison thing, but seems to have a low voice. Also Michelle Yeoh, which I realize now that I'm burying the lead. This is a Michelle Yeoh movie, and somehow the first that I'm talking about, like I know I've talked about Yes Madam over and over and over again. Hopefully, if I haven't, go watch like YouTube. I don't care what you have to do. It's some Yes Madam fight scenes. And I think she probably also came up when I talked about how Cynthia Khan from In Line of Duty 4 and Tiger Cage 2, where she had taken her stage name from, because Michelle Yeoh went by Michelle Khan at the time. What I didn't know was that around that same time in '87, Michelle Yeoh retired from movie making. And can you imagine if that would have stuck? I don't even want to think about it, honestly. Luckily, she came out of retirement to do this movie in 1992, to do Police Story 3. And she plays a director at Interpol. I'm pretty sure. I will say the hierarchy seems a little, I mean, it always is in just about every cop movie to some, jurisdiction. Sometimes it's a plot point even. I'm not 100% positive exactly what's going on, except that Jackie is I guess just a beat cop, although a super one, that is recruited to work with Interpol because, and if I haven't mentioned this yet, drugs, it's 1992, drugs are everywhere. So Jackie's sent to work with her, and I guess the plan ends up being that they will spring Panther is his name. Brother Powell in the film is how I knew him until I started looking up credits, and it turns out Panther is how he's more often known in the credits, probably some earlier versions of the film. Maybe even the US version of the film is where that's coming from. Or that's probably what Powell means, and I don't know. Also, he's played by Yeoh, by the way, who also played the heavy in Dragons Forever, one of the Seven Little Fortunes, Went to School with Jackie, etc. Does fantastic. He's a good heavy, by the way. He's not like the main, he's a lieutenant in this one. The plan ends up being that they will spring him from jail and that he will take him to the big bad Chaibat, and that they will do something after that. Before we get there though, I believe contractually obligated to point out that when they meet Chaibat for the first time, he is playing the Sega Mega Drive version of Tetris, except that's not what it sounds like. That's not the music from the Sega Mega Drive version of Tetris. But I guess it's an even bigger mess in the States, actually. The game is Streets of Rage, but it sounds like Street Fighter 2, and then there's still the scene where it's Tetris in the background. So I guess if you're watching that scene and it's a real mess, you're watching the US cut. Go find the Hong Kong one. But that doesn't figure in real big to the movie, the Tetris game, for some reason. The thrust ends up being the criminal enterprise that Chaibat is in charge of. How do we bring that down? And luckily, the way they do that is by letting Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh do their thing, which is great. They play off each other extremely well. Michelle Yeoh's character is kind of the yin to Jackie's yang in this one. She takes her job very seriously, is a little exasperated when he does not. But it's more of a personality clash thing. Like, it's not done in the service of one of these needs to change or even really meet in the middle, because they're both still extremely capable. They're just different. They do come together. I don't think it's ever actually, I'm trying to think about it now, verbalized. Like, I don't think they have any moments where they sit down and talk about it in any way at all. It's all done throughout the action, which is the other thing I would point out about this thing, Stanley Tong included. I really like what he does with the action in this. And really early on, actually, there's a sparring match between Jackie, like Michelle Yeoh kind of sets Jackie up, I think, to get taken down a peg is what she's expecting. This is early on in their relationship. So she recruits her lead training officer to do a sparring match with Jackie. And not only do I just plain like how it's shot, again, Stanley Tong, who was also listed as the martial arts director on the Hong Kong movie database, you get the feeling Jackie Chan always has a heavy hand in his movies as well, even if he's not, strictly speaking, listed as a martial arts director. So the direction's good, great. I also love how Jackie plays it, actually. He's holding back, it seems, like pretending to be a slouch, but instinctively delivers when pressed. It's got maybe a hint of drunken boxing to it, is maybe why I'm latching onto it. But it also really humanizes Jackie's character while also defining it all at the same time. It's just really well done for such an, almost nothing fight. It's just a sparring, there's no stakes really, and they do just some great work with it. And if we're talking about the action, I've lost track of how many times I've said this, but oh my gosh, the last 30 minutes of this movie. Over the course of it, they go to Thailand, where Bonus, General Lo Lei, the drug lord general farmer probably guy, is played by Lo Lei, Five Fingers of Death himself. And after they pretty much blow up his entire camp, they meet up in Malaysia because Chaibot's wife is convicted and going to jail, quite possibly execution. But they need to spring her. Honestly, it's the part you're not meant to think about really, so it's the one that I key in on, and I'm like, well, I have an issue with it. It's just that, for a movie that spends a lot of time showing you how heartless Chaibot is and not developing his wife as a character at all, it's just a little okay, anything would have worked, and I guess this is what they went with. You need something to drive the showdown in the third act, and this is as good as anything, because May shows up on a tour bus, just kind of out of nowhere, blows Jackie's cover, and gets captured, so now they have to spring the wife or May gets killed. And it's a good setup, don't get me wrong, it's everything we need. And also when the stunts begin, who cares? By time Jackie is hanging from a helicopter and Michelle Yeoh is jumping a motorcycle onto a moving train, I'd say you're having a good time no matter what. I mean, they are just lighting up downtown Kuala Lumpur for the last 15 minutes of this movie. And if I haven't said this before, maybe I haven't had the chance to, because this is kind of one of her first movies that I'm talking about. Michelle Yeoh is just one of the best to have ever done it. Top 3, top 2, probably. And some of you are just like, why aren't you saying she's number 1? Nobody has gone toe-to-toe with Jackie maybe as well as she has, for sure. She is number 1 and all the other stuff. And the whole movie does generally just look like somebody threw a whole bunch of money at a Jackie Chan movie. Police Story 1 and 2 are great, obviously, and don't look bad at all, but they do, they're scrappy in a way. This doesn't look scrappy at all, I think, really, in any moment. By the 30th explosion, there's a lot of scrap on screen, but the movie itself just looks like $1 million, which is actually probably off. How much did this cost? $900,000? I am genuinely surprised they blew up that many things for $900,000 somehow. It made 34.4, but wow, okay. Police Story 3. It's up there. Again, you knew it already, but probably watch it again. Next week, we are halfway through, my family and I, Hard Boiled. So whenever that does actually happen, we will actually do an episode on it. Whether or not that's by next week, I don't know. But if it's not, we're looking at Three Ninjas. So you decide which family, do you want to talk about a family movie or do you want to see a family talk about a movie? So come back next week for whichever one it is. And thank you, as always, for liking and subscribing. It took me a couple years, but I am totally that guy now that says like and subscribe at the end of his YouTube videos. Or you've gone to Patreon or PayPal, or actually am replacing all of the PayPal links with Ko-Fi links, because that's a pretty popular platform that is just linked directly to PayPal anyway. So if that makes it easier, regardless, thank you, and your name will show up in the credits like these fine folks.